my goblins and ghouls. Welcome to Sideshow Spooky Show, a part of Spooktacular. I'm your host, Vanessa. They have once again let me in. I'm surrounded by all of this cool stuff, but I can't seem to find my co-host anywhere.
Hey, okay, here for the costume contest.
There is no costume contest, guy.
Hey, then I won! I'm Gort from The Day the Earth Stood Still.
You sure are, guy. You won!
Thank you! Well, hi everybody, and welcome to Spooktacular. We have an incredible journey into this booth for you today, and we're going to dive right in.
Yes.
Let's first take a look at, from Prime One Studios, the half-scale Pennywise from It.
He's stunning.
Is amazing. When you have something in this type scale, in a larger scale like this, the amount of detail that you're able to do is amazing. The cording that is around the cuffs,
Yeah, the
up
dancing
on here, and the belt,
details.
and to see kind of hand stitch, the stitching that is down in there, the weathering and the dirt, the fraying on his cuffs. Take a look at down here. I love this area here and all of the accordion-esque kind of pant leg. And that brings us to show this base. Now the hand is separate and that can be positioned wherever you like. The water effect on this, the rolling down into it along with the little boat is wonderful. The base does pull in half when you're assembling it, and that does allow you to put that hand in there and move it around.
So you can really customize it to whatever display you have, especially if you have a lot of horror stuff that you really wanted to like showcase.
Exactly. And this is definitely a showcase piece with something that is half scale like this. You're talking about something that's, 3 feet in height.
Now, this is a latex balloon, but it does come with a molded balloon.
Yes, he actually has a couple of options for you. There is the latex one if you want to do a real balloon, shall we say. There is a sculpted balloon on it. Or if you didn't want to have a balloon at all, there is another swap out hand where he's not holding one. Take a look at that face. One of the things that was so creepy in the film was that large forehead and kind of the cracking that it had. And this one here definitely has that wet look on the teeth, that sinister grin.
And those really unique eyes, actually. The actor that played Pennywise himself has the ability to make both eyes roll around individually, and they really captured that in here.
Yes. The hair piece on there is absolutely amazing. What you can't see here is on the back of the base, there's actually the 3 missing children posters.
That's so cool.
As well. So it is definitely something you're going to put kind of center of the room
It's a showpiece
and
from
show
every
off
angle.
all of it. Another real cool half scale that they're doing is here from Quarantine Studios. And that is one of the most famous films ever. The black and white Nosferatu film.
Gorgeous.
And done in this half scale is spectacular. Such a unique look. And to know
Yeah.
that some of it was makeup, but some of it was the actor just looked like that.
And you can't find where the lines are, which makes it all the more haunting.
Yes, exactly. And I love it. I love kind of that grayscale aesthetic. It's so creepy. I like the base that they've chosen to go with it.
Where it feels like it touches on the castle.
Yes, it does. And this is great. If you're space limited, busts are always a neat one to have. Sometimes they're quite small or they're life size, but to have a half scale, you're getting that wonderful detail, but not taking up a lot of what I'll call shelf space or area in a room. But he is wonderful. Then the only other scale you can go up from there is
1-to-1
scale.
So I love a 1-to-1 scale on a haunted doll, which is why I am obsessed with this Annabelle. I'm a big fan of the Conjuring movies, and specifically Annabelle. I love a creepy doll. I love a haunted doll. I had a lot of dolls as a child, and I still have a lot of dolls now. So the idea of them coming to life is terrifying to me, which makes it one of my favorite horror tropes. Now, I really love the scale of this Annabelle because it really it puts you in the film, especially when it's something that is such a big like hallmark of the Conjuring series, where it's almost like the big bad.
Yes.
Being in the same room with it almost makes it feel like you have that same intimidation that the characters that had to deal with Annabelle had.
Well,
I loved her.
One of the things, now a creepy, scary movie I do enjoy. These ones scare the bajonkers out of me. They really do. So when Sleep is for the Weak and I'm starting to get a little bit
weak,
I'm about to drop, I throw on one of these. Believe me, I'm up for the next 6 or 8 hours. And this one here, again, yeah, that 1/1 scale and something like that. For the true fan, this is not only something you can have it, you put out during your October and your fall and your spooky season, but you can have it all the time, which is very, very fun.
Yeah, Annabelle is year-round. Annabelle is forever. You cannot escape Annabelle.
You cannot escape Annabelle.
And Trick or Treat really captured specifically the fact that she looks like an antiqued doll.
Yes.
Not like she's just from the movie, but that she's been loved and worn for a long time, and then eventually possessed.
Now the other doll that I remember as a kid,
my guy,
being spooky, has to be Chucky.
Charles Lee Ray.
Yep.
I am the biggest Child's Play fan you will ever meet.
It's incredibly fun, and the way in which they continued to work with this character.
Yes, he's the only slasher with character development.
Yeah,
he gets a family. He has
creates
kids.
Exactly. Not many slasher movies have weddings and things like that.
Exactly.
And you do get it with this one here. The eyes on there,
incredible.
So bright, so lifelike. It's just a lot of fun. And as you can see, he stands on his own. This is a 1/1 scale thing. You don't have to have a stand for it or anything like that. And he is really, really fun. The good guy's overalls beaten and torn, kind of put together, safety pinned back together is a lot of fun.
Now, if you put him in a window, you'll ensure that no one ever looks into your home ever again.
This is true. This is true.
Seeing him on a 1-to-1 scale really lets me know how much I could not take Chucky. I feel like there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I can hold my own against a haunted doll. I can't.
Yeah.
My shins are gone.
Yeah, he's a little taller than one would think on the doll. Well, we started with one scary clown.
Yep.
And we're going to finish our little section here with yet another scary clown.
Let's
so tell
send
us
in the
about
clown.
this one here.
Now, this is the Mary Shaw clown from Dead Silence, which if you're looking for a very fun Halloween movie to watch for this weekend, cannot recommend it enough. Now, I cannot imagine having this in my home without giving myself a startle every day of my life. I swear to God, if I lived with a roommate, I would position it differently every single day.
Wow, so you're quite the tormentor.
I'm quite the tormentor.
Spectacular Janelle. This is another one where the eyes really get me.
Yeah, Trick or Treat has really nailed it with the doll eyes, where they feel like doll's eyes, but they have that sinister character that these characters all carry with them.
And it's just a fun one. That silk and satin of the suit. I mean, this is, if you had this right next to the screen used prop, I think you'd be very torn to know the difference, which is absolutely amazing to see.
Quick interjection. I know somebody asked who the sculptor was for Nosferatu, and that is Jeff Yeager.
Well, Jeff knocked it out of the park.
You made a masterpiece, Jeff.
Yeah. The teeth, the way in which the slant of the eyes, the upturn of the eyebrow.
Yeah, I honestly, every single one of these pieces, I would honestly love to have in my home year-round, not just for the Halloween season, but we have so much more content for you.
So much more.
And also, if you want to know where you can snag one of these snazzy shirts that Guy will also be wearing later once we free him from the cardboard tomb
from my Gort outfit
that he has made for himself, you can look for these shirts in a very cool kit on side.show/Spooktacular kit, and you get the shirt, 2 masks, and 2 great pins. I've seen these pins. They are gorgeous.
Very fun. Very fun.
So Guy's going to get dressed here in a
Yes,
second,
I am.
And we're going to... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
We have had soul collecting. We've been doing that.
Yes.
And what we're going to do now is let you see a few of the videos that people have been sending in. Soul collecting is one of my favorite parts of Spooktacular.
Yes.
I love to see what
This is my
people
first
do.
one, and it was so fun to watch.
Oh, yeah. It's so fun to see what people do, and you're like, wow, that's gutsy. And it is really fun. So we do want you to see some of those. So watch those, and then we're going to be right back. We're going to journey deeper into the booth, and we'll see you in just a little bit.
Oh, Guy, what are you doing?
Here for Spooktacular. It's going to be a fun time.
It's all online. No. What are you supposed to be?
I'm the cabana from the beaches of Amity Island. Haven't you ever seen Jaws?
All right. That's some bad hat, Harry.
It's going to be a fun time, Wookie.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! Dracula.
I'll show you who I am and what I am.
I have never seen anything like this before. Thou shalt rise again.
Hello, my name is Brian Quinn, and you may know me from the show Impractical Jokers, but a lot of other people, including Sideshow Collectibles, know me as an insane Ghostbusters fan. It's my favorite movie. I have too many props, Ecto ones, ghost packs. I made my own Ghostbusters outfit here. I got a signed Bill Murray poster right behind me. I'm telling you, I'm real dumb. Look at the pinball machine. I love Ghostbusters. And that is why Sideshow sent me this Hollywood Collectibles Group Ghostbusters Ghost Trap prop replica. Why? Because they know that one, if they nailed it, I'm gonna love it. It's the first time I'm opening it. I did open the box the other day and cut the plastic, but I did not take the ghost trap out. I'm seeing it for the first time that you are. I'm gonna give my thoughts on it. So why don't we jump right into it? Okay. This is what I cut the other day, just to make it easy to open on camera. Okay, let's see what we got here. All right, ooh, all right. Okay, right away we got the main body and rollers of the ghost trap apparatus. And let's keep going here, get everything out. Really well packed. Don't know if that's important to you guys, but it is to me, because I like my stuff to be in one piece when I get it. Oh, the pedestals, nice. Okay, let's see if there's anything else in here that I should be taking a look at with you guys. Oh, yep, what do we got here? So the box comes with a pretty cool display pedestal. All right, let me get the box down. It's got the warning tape around it, so that's actually pretty cool. Okay, we'll put that to the side right for now. Excuse me, and let's get into this. Now, the thing that I love about Ghostbusters technology is obviously it is all custom handmade stuff. Egon and Ray, no doubt, put all of it together. We know that. But there's something about a movie being shot in the 1980s, futuresque technology that I love. It's like the cars from the 80s. It's very boxy and you know, it's got a lot of the homegrown elements on it, the switches and lights, which I'm actually not even aware if they light up, but as I don't see anything for batteries in there, I'm gonna assume not. Now, I've had a lot of Ghost Trap replicas over the years, all the way back to the real Ghostbusters cartoon as a kid. I had the little blue one, and there's different ones, but this one seems to be possibly the best I've seen so far. Look at that. The ghost trap spits open, which I guess you could use to hide things inside of. But like the movie, you know, the ghost trap, you slid it into the containment unit, and this part came out and cleaned out the ghosts into the containment unit. I was always a little worried about what was going on in that containment unit. Like, what were the ghosts up to while they were in there? And is my grandmother in there? Like, if my grandmother had come back and the ghost busted her, would she be in there? And if so, can I visit her? A lot of questions. Okay, here is the foot pedal that, of course, the Ghostbusters used to activate the trap. They got that ribbon wiring that's also on the ghost pack that Egon used to build the ghost pack. It's got, I don't even know what you would call that, some sort of electric doodad. And it doesn't look like they skimped. It looks like they went out and bought an actual electronic doodad that matches what they used in the movie and put it on there. So that's pretty good. Really a solenoid. It says 220 VAC, which is electrician speak, I guess. Can you step on it? No. So this is a real replica. This is not a working prop. You don't want to step on it or anything like that. Okay, so looking at it, and there were subtle differences between the ghost traps and Ghostbusters 1 and Ghostbusters 2. And this seems to me, not knowing for sure, but this seems to me to be a trap from Ghostbusters, the original movie. I'm telling you right now, This thing is awesome. It has got a substantial weight to it, and it looks like you could take this out into the field. Like the knobs, they do turn. That's cool. The dials, the knobs, and this, I'm hoping, yeah, all right, that flicks right there. If you can see that, which is kind of cool. Now, we all know that it's not gonna light up and actually cast ghosts, but it's still pretty cool to have things kind of work like they're supposed to a little bit in the movies. And now, let me just put this together for you guys. It's pretty big. I mean, I'm hoping you guys are getting a sense of how big it is. It's pretty big. I think the only thing that I could do to improve this would be maybe, and this is something I'll have to work on my own, is maybe a glass case. Because, you know, if I was a kid and I was visiting, say, my Uncle Brian's house, I don't know if I'd be able to resist picking this up and playing Ghostbusters, especially when, you know, there is full Ghostbusters paraphernalia all over the house. You come to my house, it's more like an indoctrination than anything else with the Ghostbusters. This is phenomenal. This is great. To kind of quote Paul Rudd, his line in the Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer, paraphrase him, I guess. This is an insanely well done Ghost Trap replica. I'm extremely pleased to have this in my living room on display, and I can't imagine anybody that buys this thing isn't gonna have a blast with it. So there you go. I'm giving it a thumbs up. I'm saying it's awesome. I love it. I'm kind of in awe of it, and I want to go play with it a little bit. I want to go like walk around my house and hold it a little bit. I wouldn't bring it out on Halloween when I was walking the streets, like as a prop for my costume. I wouldn't do that. It's a little too well made, and a little too, like, if I break this, I can't fix this. It is meant to be looked at, not played with, I would say. And with that in mind, if you can resist playing with it, and I don't know that I'm going to be able to do that, what you have here is the best Ghost Trap prop replica I've ever seen. And I'm not just saying that because I have it in front of me. I have like 3 or 4 more versions of this prop around my house, and this is definitely the best one. So there you go. If you are interested in it, it's got my vote, and let me know if you do end up picking one up. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know if I steered you in the right direction. All right, guys. I gotta go bust some ghosts. I'm gonna take this with me.
This is the way. This is the way. This is the way. This is the way. This is the way.
Nub. Each up, yup, nub. A toe meat, toe peachy keen. Ganoop, doc, fling. Oh, ah!
Alfred, I need you to do the dishes.
Yes, Master Wayne, I'll get right on that.
Everybody, chill. Let's kick some ice. What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
What's going on, collectors? Gem Mint here. It's Halloween, and I figured what better statue to review than Sideshow's own Odium Reincarnated Rage Maquette from Court of the Dead. This is sculpted by the great Martin Canali, and it is a beast chock full of detail. Let's start by looking at the base. The base has a muted, brownish remains of skulls and bones of his enemies. You can see all the detail in here in the back where you have a vertebrae with the back of a rib cage. That kind of goes throughout. Like I said, you have all of these skulls, and some of them look to be skulls that aren't human. What's this guy got? 4 eyes here. Moving up to Odium himself, he is a mixture of the flesh of many different creatures, and you can see that throughout his sculpt. He's also riddled with spikes going through his skin, and I like how they have that kind of pinkish, wounded look surrounding those spikes. Starting at the bottom, you can see where he's got this armor that's kind of sewn into his skin. It looks like it hurts. Moving up to his flesh, it's a rotted looking, disgusting flesh with all of these wounds and scars and stitchings where he's been pieced together. You have mixed media around his waist where you have this metal chain, you have these tattered remains of clothing, and then moving up to the torso, he's got his logo. It's pretty much embedded within his stomach. There's so many wounds around it. It's definitely gruesome. The skin almost has like the look of your fingers when you're in the water too long. It looks wrinkled and decaying. The sculpt of the musculature on his back is amazing with those spikes going through his spine. Dang. I love his choice of weapons, these very large, rusty, damaged, and old blades. He's got almost what looks like an axe on his left hand, and then he has these sharp claws on his right hand. Man, there is so much detail in the spikes and in the sculpt of his weapons. And then you have his portrait. That is a face only a mother could love. You can see how much detail and how much attention was placed into his face with all of the scars, all of those wounds, his jagged yellow teeth, and those spikes that are going through the back of his head, through the front. Truly gruesome. This is definitely a beast of a character. Somebody that you wouldn't want to mess with. Alright guys, thanks for watching Sideshow Spooktacular. I've been Gem Mint. Stay minty fresh. Peace.
Oh, Guy, what are you doing?
Camping out for Spooktacular.
Camping out. Guy, it's all online like it is every... You know what? Never mind. I gotta watch it.
Gonna be some spooky fun times, huh, Wookie? You didn't ask me what I was.
Welcome back to Sideshow Spooky Show. As part of Spooktacular, I am your host, Vanessa, and we freed Guy.
Hey, everybody. This booth is spectacular.
Incredible.
It's spectacular. It's
Spooktacular
spooktacular.
almost.
Exactly. I love what they've done, and this is such a new and unique thing that Sideshow has done for us here. And I would love for you and I to delve into the Court of the Dead.
Yes, let's hold court.
Yes. Jim just did a great deep look into this particular one, and we're going to let our cameraman Sam show that off again, and then we're going to get a little further into these. The artwork on Court of the Dead is amazing. I am really new to the world of Court of the Dead.
As am I.
Even though Court of the Dead has been around for a bit, it's really kind of a new thing for me. And even if you're not, the artwork is spectacular.
It's incredible. So here we're looking at Odium, who, upon description, is literally nailed together with flesh and rage, which is the most metal description of any character I've ever heard.
Yes, yes. And when you look at that, when you talk about that, you see the spikes going through the flesh, and the paintwork that's been done to give the metal and iron and looks on that are spectacular. This is a very big dude, and somebody I don't really want to.
Don't really want to mess with.
Yeah, you don't want to. I do not want to encounter him. I would say on a dark night, dark alley, I don't really want to see him in the middle of the daytime in a grocery store.
In the middle of the field?
Not my thing.
So he was created by Gethsemane, a character that we'll see later, to fight the Bone faction, which if you look at the base,
yes.
He's doing a great job.
Yes, he's doing great in his soul collecting. These things blow me away.
Yes.
With all of the different styles of the mixed media, from the way in which they're sculpted to somewhere you see translucency and you see through them to
the battle-worn fabric.
Yes, they've done an amazing job, and the sculptors and the cut and sew and paint, everybody that's involved in these things. This is a labor of love, and you see it in everything that they do. I love that we have a third arm kind of peeking out,
through.
and yeah, you go, oh, wait a second, that's a third arm. It takes you a moment. That's the other thing, is you can really get lost in these pieces when you're looking at the detail and the continuous new information and story that is brought into them.
That's what I love so much about these Court of the Dead pieces, where as a new Court of the Dead fan, you can learn so much about these characters upon first introduction just by these pieces.
Yes.
Now, I do want to take a look over at Demethyl. I love a Reaper. Reapers are some of my favorite iconography and horror imagery. And here we have the General Reaper. Look at his face. Look at that intimidation coming from those eyes. They look like they're practically glowing.
What's funny is it's a skull, but it almost still has a smile effect.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Character in the skull.
In the way in which it's done. He's very pleased at what he's doing. When I talked about how you get lost and you keep seeing new things, he's one where I said, look at that, and you got a second arm. No, there's even a third one starting to go.
Oh, the little one from the middle.
Yeah, a little third one. Next up is, take a look at the armor on that chest plate.
Yes, the detailing
that
on that.
looks like metal, and it looks like metal that's been around for a very long time.
The aging is really thoughtful.
Yeah, yes, thoughtful, exactly. Now, in front of him is one that I love, and that is Relic Revlech.
A paladin of the dead. And from what I'm learning as I dive into Court of the Dead, a fan favorite. He's Death's personal quest knight.
Yeah, and he has that. He has that. This is that knight look. I love that his lantern is this kind of brass bronze skull, and I really love the wisp coming up
of the blue flames.
Yeah, the blue
flames, which is
flames.
Interchangeable with a shield.
Yes, yes. That's the other cool thing, is they're even giving you those things. The face on this guy here, it almost has a bit of a wink with that one large eye and the other a little bit. I think this is amazing. It really shows so much love and attention to detail, and the world that they've created in this, when it was just someone's idea.
Yeah.
And they elaborated, and all of the artists that have come together to make this, and that's what you really see, is the collaboration of artists in those. And Court of the Dead.
So many talented hands on it.
Oh yeah.
Now,
this is
I'm
great.
excited to move on to the piece behind it, because as I learn a little bit more lore about her, I love her, and that is Gethsemane, who created that first piece we saw, Odium. And just look at the power and confidence on that face.
Yes. I mean, I'm one who enjoys wearing hats, but hers, that is special.
Yeah, she is a member of the Flesh faction, so she has a bone to pick with the Bone faction.
Yeah. What's gotten me about these, I know we talked about Odium and his skull base, is even the base designs for these figures. And each one different. Yes, they're all of that same type world, but they do have such unique artistry done in them. These blow me away every time I see them. When they first introduced these on a convention floor, and you got to see these, and of course then you're seeing them behind glass. You're not here, so we get to be really close up.
Seeing all that detail and movement, and she's a necromancer, so she's in the middle of molding new flesh.
We're
right in the scene.
She's cooking.
Yeah, cooking.
In the back, we have Death. And this one is one of the, it's a much larger piece than some of the others, but so much going on with him.
An incredible bone-shaped scythe.
Yes, what I like is this kind of wisp of smoke and mysticism, full of skulls that he's standing upon.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a bit of a Luminesque look. Again, that base that just pops and brings it to life.
Death is gorgeous. And what I love is that point, that very regal, matter-of-fact point that you know is just commanding an army.
Yeah, I think when you put that in a room, everyone who walks in is going to look at that and know it. Who doesn't like a nice mermaid? And we have her right here. Another one where I absolutely love the paint scheme, and I love the sense of movement around, where we have the tail wrapping around. And again, we're hiding that kind of skull base inside the trunk there as well.
The detail on the wood is incredible.
What I like about this one here is all the movement. And that's what they've done with all of these. But when they have that movement and intensity here, from the hair whipping around, you can almost hear and see that slithering of the tail going on in there. Or the grit intenseness on Shard's face, which is next to it here.
I have been wanting to take a look at Shard because if you've met me, you know I love a character in the middle of battle. And look at that battle-ready face and those arrows stuck to that wooden shield. You can almost hear the plunk of them landing already.
Yes, yes. And take a look at you know, she's been in this battle for a bit. The cape and around the waistcoat is splattered and stained. She's been out on this field for a bit.
Yeah, she is a force to be reckoned with in the underworld. The movement in her hair lets you know she's about to swing that heavy sword. You can really almost hear the sounds of the battlefield just by the way that she's posed.
Yeah, she is wonderful. Now she's complemented by Kier. When you see yet another woman character in an intense battle, and one that she's definitely won.
Oh yeah, this was Kier's war.
Yeah, holding the severed head. Right there. Again, what's getting me so much about these is the paint applications to give so many different unique metal looks and feels to it. Some being bronze, some being metals we don't know.
Some tarnished.
Yeah, all of that's in there, from on her shin guards and kind of the weather that is onto those. And that is, you know, it is different than what you have on the belt and the chest plate. And all that, just incredible. And I love the victorious open mouth scream.
Yes.
That she has with that one there.
And the movement of that fabric, so you can kind of see where she is in the middle of battle. I'm a big fan of this piece.
The next one is one that really spoke to me the first time I saw it and went, "What is Court of the Dead? What is this?"
I have to know more.
And this was the one, and that's Shiv right here. The sickle, the long, elongated index finger on both hands, holding them there. Again, where we've talked about that kind of magical smoke and light that they've added on some of these is amazing. Hand tied, all here, holding that lower jaw onto it. It's incredibly creepy, but you can't deny that it's just meticulously done.
And it looks so delicate, like it's about to fall off, but you know it's really suspended in place.
Yeah. The bone work there that has that, it looks just like bone and has this wet look. And then again, when those cloaks are tattered in blood and dirt and muck, brings so much life to it.
Well, this is a character that scouts battlefields specifically.
Yes.
So you can see, because she goes from battlefield to battlefield, she has blood all along the bottom of that cape from walking through.
Yes. Yeah, that it's getting soaked and just, almost mopping.
Yes.
A battlefield. The other one, and these were the two that to me just went, what is this? Is Poxel. It is this bird-like apparatus where you've got the bones sticking out of the back.
Yes.
Again, things that are hand-tied on there. And the work of the fabric down around here just amazes me.
I love those wrinkles on the bending joints. that looks
Yes.
so bird-like.
Yes, this one is, there's so much story in these, and I'm loving reading and getting into it and going, okay, who is this? And it's a fun one to study, and I love that they've created into games, and people are very, very into it. So I'm enjoying it, diving into this world. Again, one of those very unique bases. They're not. Sideshow doesn't skimp on that. That's
on the
it's not,
detail
yeah,
and the
it's-
character.
On the detail like that, you've got, kind of that riveted, held together metal. You've got the bones sticking up out of there as well.
Now, right behind Poxel, we have a character I've been dying to jump into, and that is Elianastis, the Great Oracle.
Yeah.
Oracle is a word that I just learned. I have to do a little bit of a running start to completely say.
To say that one. She is one, we've talked about these with the movement, and you look at the back and there's red ribbons with the spikes on the end and this incredible movement
Now,
that you have with it.
we were just talking about like detail the more you look at it, and if you look close, note that her head is actually floating above her body.
Wow. Again,
Incredible.
so much detail. All of the kind of vaporesque wisps that they do, from that holding the head to the things in her hands to even the way her body is elevated off there, is so wild.
She just looks so ethereal and so otherworldly, and she looks suspended. She doesn't look like she's standing. She looks like she's actually floating.
Yeah.
So on your display, she would look that way too, from her head to the fact that she's barely touching the earth. She just looks like a wisp carried by weightlessness.
Yeah, it is just wild. When you look at something like this, sometimes we'll look at a piece, if you're in a gallery or something, and you're only there for a moment and you kind of move on. These ones here, you can get lost for a long period of time. We could be here indefinitely, getting
like a
lost in
spell's
all
been
of the
put on you.
details and how they work. And so I really am just amazed each time I get a chance to see these.
Now,
And the
tapping
last
us off.
one that we have here on display, who doesn't love a knight character?
Yeah, we have Mortigal, who is so intimidating upon first glance. From his armor to his sword, every little detail into it.
I love his mask. The mask that he has on with kind of that big full mustache.
Yeah.
I swear I know this person.
And that beautiful green patina on his armor.
Oh yeah. A waved sword like that, which, if you look historically, why they would even do that was really kind of gruesome but yet very effective, which is why they did it. Again, just
Formidable.
when they're doing these metallics on these, it really, really shines in the Court of the Dead. The flesh tones, the metal tones, these are amazing labors of love, and incredible pieces to have in your collection.
Now, why don't we take a journey right on over here to this really interesting display that I have been salivating over.
Yeah. Now, I'm a child of the 80s, and one of my favorites was Ghostbusters.
God, same. It's a classic. It's always going to be a classic.
Exactly. And all of the things that they had that they threw together, and now what we have here is the Ghost Trap, and this is a 1/1 scale prop replica.
I've truly wondered how big it was every time I've watched it.
When
sitting
they
next to
when
it.
they kick it out to go use it for the first time, and is this thing going to work, and all. Now this comes with the display base. You have your foot pedal. Now this is a static foot pedal. It is not one that moves. So be careful if you do have that.
No.
Don't throw it on the floor and step on it.
Use something else for the ghost that you have haunting your home right now.
Exactly.
Maybe call a professional.
We get that. Exactly. Call a professional. It'll also pop open.
What a fun surprise.
Isn't that fun?
I love that.
Which is a really neat little thing that they've added there. And I love it. I love it. It's a fun, exciting thing.
Yeah.
Anytime that I can get a prop replica, I'm into it.
Same. And I love when a prop replica doesn't feel like a toy.
Right.
When it feels like this is something that someone created and painted for a job.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's exactly what this
Yes, that's what it has. The little screws and the and rivets to hold the thing together. Remember, these guys were just winging it, not sure how they would do it.
Yeah.
Open that one more time.
Yeah.
I like the sound effect you added, the little boink.
Yes. Sam will come over and make the boink noise for you if you need.
Yeah, he's 4 higher for boink noises.
But I love that. And then, now we saw a version of Pennywise in the half scale. This one here is the maquette. And I love this. This is Tweederhead.
Man. He looks so sinister, so plotting.
And again, that sense of movement. When we saw that in the film, that he pops up and jumps on something like that.
So fluidly, so quickly.
Yeah, he was almost, spider-like, I guess you'd say, which makes sense if you've seen all of the films. I'm not going to spoiler anything for you if you haven't seen both of those films. But it is an incredible piece. It's a really, really incredible piece. Casket giving that wood grain, the brass handles on it, and then, of course, his unique suit, which is such a fun take.
Yeah, I love it. It looks so ancient.
Yes, exactly. Ancient is a wonderful, wonderful word to use to describe this guy here.
Like he's something that's haunted for eons and eons and eons, which is why I love this Pennywise costume.
Yeah, it's a really fun take, and I think that's why everybody jumped on it. He's an amazing character in the books, but then to see him created into this, and I know that we do have a more in-depth look that we're going to let everybody see in just a little bit, too. Now, in kind of a fun, smaller scale.
I love him.
Yes.
How is he so cute and so creepy all at once?
Exactly. You get cute and creepy, which normally you don't get both. But again, great paint work on this one here. I love the eyes.
Yeah.
The side eye slant look.
Those signature Pennywise eyes.
Yep. He's got a side look. The teeth are out. Not really that grinny. He's about to do something.
Yeah, menacing.
Yep, his red balloon, you got to be known for red balloons. And then, of course, that Georgie, which is so fun.
I adore it. Now, on this next playlist, we have so much extra fun content for you, but we also have that great Kevin Tong interview who did some gorgeous crow art pieces that we are actually going to be checking out in the art gallery when we make a journey on over there right after these playlists. And speaking of journey is our scavenger hunt word. And if you want to grab one of these t-shirts before we get to the art gallery, it is side.show/spooktacular kit, and you get the t-shirt, you get 2 masks and 2 pins as well.
Yeah. Well, thanks everybody. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Paul, have you seen how detailed these things are?
Paul?
What's up, guys? Austin here, along with my girlfriend Vanessa, and we are here for a very spooky reason, a very fun, spooky reason. It's Spooktacular Sideshow, one of my favorite Sideshow events going on right now.
I can't wait.
All the spookiness.
Yeah.
And obviously, you can see this bad boy in front of us.
All things spoopy.
In front of us, we have this 13-inch Pennywise, the not-so-dancing clown right here. It's more like the crouching clown.
Yeah, creepily crouching clown.
That's a really long title.
I know.
I'm Pennywise, the creepily crouching dancing clown.
I think so. He's like, it's a little too realistic for me.
How so?
Like, I have a love-hate relationship with Pennywise. I love that he scares me, but I also hate that he scares me.
Nice. That's great.
He is terrifying.
That's a good description.
Okay, that's not what we're doing. That's not what we're
All right,
doing.
so
Maybe you scared the dog.
he's okay. Look, he likes it. Hello, Penny. No, Pennywise. Okay. Yo, so check this thing out. It's actually really cool. It doesn't come in very many pieces, but my favorite part of this is if you don't pay attention to it. Here, hold Pennywise for a second. Don't break him. Don't break him! Found. Look at this. This is actually really cool. The inside of the casket has the entire missing person's flyer. And actually, like, like lifts up for Richie Trashmouth.
Wow.
Yeah, it's freaking awesome. It has all the stuff in there, the phone number, like that. The detail on this is actually really cool. So when
insanely detailed.
This is 1/5 scale. This thing's heavy too. Like it's got a lot of weight to it. It's not like one of those like pieces that's like, oh look, I'm flimsy.
No, this is some high quality stuff.
Exactly. You want a hand? It comes in just a couple pieces, which pop in really easy. And the balloon is really cool because it's just on there, and then he sits he's actually like perched like right on that ledge, like he's about to like jump at you.
The balloon looks super realistic too.
Yeah, this hand
details.
So this hand piece here, you can see you can switch it out for this one, or it's like this. You get this. You get balloon hand, which is like the quintessential Pennywise like hand motion.
He's very fancy with it.
Or the pinch you hand, or the I'm gonna scare you just a little, which I think is a lie. So this is a perfect like Halloween horror collectible for any Stephen King or It fans. It's like the perfect size. You can set it right next to your girlfriend's counter, so when she wakes up in the morning, she comes face to face with Pennywise. And he's like, "Good morning, Nessie." Yeah, so make sure you guys check it out, and don't forget Spooktacular is running from October 22nd to October 31st. All kinds of deals, all the things that are happening at Sideshow. The lovely people at Sideshow. Thank you guys for sending us this amazing statue. I think I'm gonna place it in the bedroom. I think it's gonna stay next to the bed.
Right next to the
all the way through the rest of the year, right next to Valak the Nun. Yes. It's gonna be a Sideshow bedroom. We're just gonna make it happen.
I mean, that's accurate. Yeah.
It's gonna be super accurate. So make sure you guys check it out. We'll catch you next time.
Your home for horror. Sideshow.com.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Sideshow Spooktacular. We are so excited to be here with illustrator Kevin Tong. Hi Kevin, how are you?
Hi Wendy, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. So excited to be chatting with you today. So let's just jump right into it. How long have you been an illustrator?
I started while I was a student. Gosh, that was like back in 2005? Yeah, so about 15 years.
Seasoned pro.
There have been people who've done it much longer.
Well, I love looking at your art. How would you describe your personal illustration style and your approach to art?
I guess like whenever I draw anything, I don't ever want it to be like too photorealistic. So I try to get like a hybrid where there's like, you know, like a graphic quality to it, but also like kind of just a range. So, and I try to experiment a little. I'm not entirely sure what that would be called, but yeah, I like to just mix it up.
And what was the very first time you kind of said to yourself, you know, you love art, obviously you have a huge talent for it. When was the first time you kind of realized, I'm going to do this as a career?
Oh, wow. Well, when I went to school, initially I didn't want to be an artist. I always liked drawing, but I never thought that it was like a job. Even though we're always surrounded by art, someone was paid to do it. But I went to school and I tried different majors, and they just weren't. I just wasn't feeling any of them, so I kind of defaulted into art. But I love it. It's great.
I'm so happy you found your calling, because I love your style. And speaking of style, let's dig into this piece right here. We're talking about The Crow, Real Love is Forever. So we heard that in preparation for this print, you rewatched The Crow at least 4 times. In your mind, what are some of the contributing factors or reasons it has such a long-lasting appeal, and what immortalizes it as a cult classic?
I guess, I mean, the reason why I like The Crow is why I like the other film that the director did, Alex Proyas, he did Dark City as well, and he just does like such a great mood. It looks like kind of dark, but not like foreboding. It's like German expressionism. I mean, he like, it's just so creative, and he uses miniatures and practical effects. Those two movies are just solid. And The Crow, it's considered like an action film or whatever, but it spends a good long time like setting up like characters, like real feelings, and the resolution doesn't come after the bad guy's defeated. The resolution comes from deep within when he makes his peace and returns, like to the grave. I thought that was just beautiful, especially for that kind of film.
What were some of the major themes and ideas from the film that you really wanted to capture in your interpretation?
There are quite a few themes, but the ones I wanted to really communicate was just his, like the tragedy, the sadness that he feels over what happened. I mean, he was killed and then he comes back to life, but he's not like a revenge machine. He still has feelings and anger and all these emotions. So it's not just about revenge. Like he had real love and it lasts beyond his death. And it was important to communicate, the love aspect of that story. And I really wanted to include the guitar to remind you that he's a musician. I think that was really cool.
I think that serves as a nice reminder too for the fans, and you really did capture the overall theme and the energy and the personality into your art. And I love the nod to the guitar, because sometimes we see The Crow, it's the same image that we kind of see pop up everywhere, and you didn't do that with this print, which I think that's why it's really stands out. It's really unique. I love the coloring on it, and I want to talk about, so this print has a main colorway as well as a variant. At what point during the illustration process do you start thinking about variant possibilities, and do you have a favorite preference between the two?
Usually I start thinking about the variant while I'm working on the final. During the sketch phase, it's like just get the sketch done and approved. Don't add anything else to the plate. But once it's approved, then I can start thinking about secondary things like the variant. I guess the thinking behind it was like the red was because just to reflect the intensity. But then there's also kind of like that cool, like soothing blue color of the night. It's kind of melancholy versus just intense. Do I have a preference? It just depends. Sometimes I like the intense one. Sometimes I like the melancholy one.
Yeah. So you can get both, and whatever your mood is, you can have both either way.
Oh man, funny story. My good friends, Josh and Renee, were married on Halloween like a few years ago, and they were celebrating their anniversary. And they both, Josh bought her the regular framed, and Renee bought Josh the variant frame, but they weren't aware of it.
If that's not true partnership and soulmate, I don't know what else is. That's perfect. Were you there for their reaction when they opened each other's gifts?
They just texted me and told me like, oh, we accidentally bought each other the poster, but they're going to keep it since it's both like versions.
That's great. And now they can have it in their homes side by side. Oh my God, it's perfection. I love that story. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
No problem.
So for those who may not be familiar with screen printing, can you describe the process and some of the factors that makes it unique and special? Because you've worked with DL screen printing for many, many years, right?
Well, I guess like what I like about screen printing is that I guess from an illustration standpoint, it provides kind of like a challenge, whereas you don't have like unlimited amounts of color. You have to kind of work with like a color budget, and you could do as many colors as you want, but then it gets prohibitively expensive. So I kind of appreciate the challenge, and from a standpoint of how it looks, you can use like special inks, like glow in the dark, metallic. It has like a physicality to it, and like more than just digital prints tend to look they can look beautiful, but they look kind of flat, whereas screen prints feel like they have physicality and a solidness to the color. The Crow poster uses metallic inks, and the Rain is a clear gloss layer. So I can't wait to see how that comes out. I've done something like that before, and it looks kind of cool. DL is I've worked with them for over a decade now, and
Wow.
it's like no one matches their quality quite to that degree, and we just have a really good working relationship. Like Steve, who's over there, he just knows my colors. I don't even use like the Pantone matching system. I just tell him like kind of a warm autumn orange, and he kind of just knows like very accurately what that even means, or like in like a oceany blue, and he's like, yeah, Kevin, sure.
So let's talk about your creation process. How does it all start for you? Do you get inspired by whether it's something you're watching or a thought comes into your mind, and then do you go directly to pick up pencil and paper and start sketching? How does it go for you?
I guess the first thing I do, especially for something like a property, like an intellectual property like The Crow, is I go and I look at what everyone else has done already, and I try to avoid like trends. And so one thing I noticed was all the posters were very intense and actiony, or they had them holding guns. Like not that many had him holding his guitar, or even made reference to his fiance in the movie. And so yeah, and I thought, and also I thought the window motif, that circular window that's in that movie, like it was such a great like set piece, and no one was really using that either. And I was like, so I try to, just definitely do something different, because why work so hard to put out the exact same thing that already exists? And then after that, I just kind of watch the movie, like I said, over and over again. And just try to like what really sticks with me, and then just kind of start working on the sketch. There's just stuff that sometimes it looks good in your mind, and then you start drawing and you're like, oh, that's terrible. Like,
oh no.
There's a lot of like back and forth, and then stuff that you didn't think was going to work. So actually, now that I look at it, and I guess one of the most important things is to not work on it. Like once I have it done, then kind of don't look at it for a while, because like my eyes become numb.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't see if it's good anymore, so I kind of have to like put it down and for like a day or so, and then come back and be like, if it still looks good, show it to the client. Otherwise, like maybe work on it a little more.
Have you ever gone through a project where you're sketching and you're loving it, and then you kind of do what you said, where your eyes go a little numb because you've been staring at the same art for who knows how many days? You decide to put it down, and you come back and you decide not exactly the direction I wanted to go anymore, and you scrap it. Like, has that ever happened?
Oh yeah, it's run the gamut. Like sometimes I look at it and I'm like, oh, that's still good. Like, and then turn it in. Sometimes I was like, oh, okay, usually like 90% of the time, it's like, oh, just make some adjustments, move this, or just redraw this one part. But yeah, there's times where I've like gotten rid of an entire drawing that I've spent like weeks working on. And I've learned to just not have to be disaffected by it, not have any real feelings, because I would be a lot more depressed if something, or upset if something that I didn't fully believe in. So to me, that's the better thing, is just to do it. Okay, that didn't work out. Let's learn from that, make a new thing, and I'll be happier. I don't ever remember the struggle. I usually remember just the feeling of seeing the poster and being happy with it and people's reactions to it.
Yeah.
So all the grunt work just kind of, it sucks while you're doing it, but then once it's over, it's just a distant memory.
Exactly. And then you can look back and say, look how I grew from it. And I'm glad I, made these decisions, because then you're looking at the final product and you're saying, this is it, this is right.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So I've seen your Instagram, and you show off a lot of your sketches and your, kind of like your creation process in the small clips. Are there any other mediums aside from what you are normally working with now that you want to venture into?
I'm kind of a woodcut creeper. Like I love like woodcuts. I follow artists that do, and it looks so cool. But I don't know. It's really intimidating, because like there's some people are so good at it. Scratchboard looks really cool too, but again, it's like a scratchboard is when you, like most people when they draw, they start white and then they add black. Scratchboard is you start black and then you remove the black and reveal the white underneath. They both look very intimidating, and but yeah, I'm kind of like lurking on Instagram, being like, ooh, I should try that. And then I'll get to it someday.
So Kevin, what would you say is the best advice you've ever been given as an artist?
Wow. Oh, I've been given lots of great advice. I can't remember who told me, but I still think about it to this day. They said, don't ever do like a half measure with your art. Like either do it or don't, the whole Yoda thing, do or do not. So like, don't do something unless you can fully commit. If you're gonna make something red, make it bright red. Or if you're gonna make it black and white, make it black and white. Don't do like middle things. If the arm's gonna be out, make it fully out and extended, not like some like middling pose. Yeah, I said do it or don't. Like, so make your figures really stiff or make them really loose. Don't like half of it be stiff and the other half be loose. And so I always try to make whatever I do, I try to push it all in one direction and make it as much that whatever that thing is as possible to communicate that idea or visual. Like if I can take it farther, I will.
I love that so much. So as you know, it is Sideshow Spooktacular and it's Devil's Night. So we have to know, are you a Halloween person? And what is your best story or your most like impressionable memory that's related to All Hallows Eve?
Oh, okay. Yeah. When I was a kid, I used to go trick-or-treating with my little brother who's 4 years younger than me. And he would always have my old costumes from the previous year before, like the hand-me-down costume.
Nice.
And I would get the new costume that would eventually become his in 1 or 2 years. And so one time he got my dinosaur costume, and my parents just gave me like a ghost costume. It was basically just a sheet with like whole like black painted on it. It wasn't that elaborate, but for some reason he was scared of me when I was wearing it. Like he kept crying and stuff, and I was supposed to like walk him around the whole neighborhood, and he didn't want to like hold his hand, don't you didn't get lost, but he wouldn't like. So I had to like walk like 5 feet away from him. Like if I got closer, he'd kind of move away, and I'd lift up the thing, and be like, Brandon, it's just me. And he's like, oh no, it's not. Like that. And so that was interesting, just having to walk like 5 feet away from him the whole time.
Well, Kevin, it's been so much fun chatting with you about your work, about Halloween memories. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thanks, Wendy. It was really good talking to you too.
Thank you. And of course, thank you guys for watching at home. We have so much more coming from Sideshow's Spooky Show. So stay tuned and don't forget to let your geek side show.
And welcome back to Sideshow's Spooky Show as part of Spooktacular. I'm your host, Vanessa.
And I'm Guy.
And you know who we are. You just saw that incredible Kevin Tong interview, and we are here with these gorgeous crow pieces. I'm a huge crow fan.
Yes, these are amazing. I grew up in Detroit, so the story of the crow was actually kind of lore for those of us that lived there.
Like a neighborhood story.
Exactly, we loved it. And this piece is spectacular. The cracked window behind it, his guitar. I really like that we see the tread on his boot and the laces open like that. The underlight showing him, and you see that sadness in the expression on his face and the head down. Now this is the red version. There's also a blue variant.
And you know I love blue.
Yeah, there you go. So if you want to match with your hair today, and again just shows some incredible, just the work of the light and shadow in this here. And
for a very dark toned movie.
Yeah, it is. I love the crow up on the shoulder. The slanted rain.
The romantic details of Shelley in the middle of him and her engagement ring around his neck.
Exactly. Holding rose. I love both ones. I don't know that I would be able to choose which one. So it's usually a both.
It's both.
That's how it is for me.
Man, rewatching this movie 2 days ago, I was reminded how touching Brandon Lee's performance in this is. he manages to get that like vigilante spirit, but also heartbroken and so in love with Shelley. It's such a layered performance on his part.
It really is, and it's a wonderful performance and an incredible character that he brought to life.
Yeah, and one of the things I really love is even with the full Crow makeup, you can see the wrinkled brow. You know, you can see the detail in the lips and the face. There's so much emotion coming through, even through the face paint.
Yeah, even through that, it didn't hinder the emoting, the anger, the grief, the all of that he had with that, and it's a wonderful piece. You get that white of the face, but you get the flesh tones on his hands. I like the intricacy of the guitar. That you even get the light reflecting off the cut on the bottom of the guitar there.
Yeah, and for those also looking for something to watch over Halloween weekend, this movie takes place on October 30th. We are here on October 30th.
We're here on October 30th, so yes, so this is a absolutely perfect one to have today. It's so good, the stuff that is in there. I'm having a hard time deciding between which.
I deeply need both.
Which one we have. Now I know that a lot of people are hoping for reward codes, so you and I are going to let you get one right now, and that is Spooky Show. It's going to be right there on the screen for you.
Sideshow.com/code. Enter Spooky Show. Try and remember it. The code is Spooky Show.
Which we've been doing. Let's go right over here into two pieces from one of our favorites that we talked about before, and that is Ghostbusters. First up here is Brian Rood's the Ecto-1, the grill from it. When we first see that car, and it rolls out in the movie, and the music tunes, and the sirens go off and all that, was such a fun moment. I like that it has kind of that, the light from the headlights almost is coming through like we don't know, is it a rainy day, is it not? But it does have that.
It's rainy, it's foggy, it has so much like ominous tone to it.
Yeah, if you look at this headlight over here, is that old school style that you even see the kind of grid pattern in the glass. Yeah. This is not one of these bright LEDs. This is that warm tone light that you got from it like that. The use of the chrome in there. I love the undercarriage of the car, the kind of the wetness of the street.
Yeah.
And what's neat about prints like this that you'll get is, except for the white border, you wouldn't know that this isn't painted on a canvas. You get that wonderful brush stroke.
Yeah.
To it.
Guy can confirm I thought it was canvas.
Yes. She's like, wow, is that is that an original? They're only making one? I said, oh, no, that's the print. But it's such a fun one, and the Ecto-1 is a classic. I think it's probably one of the most iconic movie cars around.
So iconic that all you really need, like the car itself is so classic, but
exactly.
Even just seeing the grill, you know what it is.
When they're talking about that we will be seeing a new Ghostbusters film sometime soon, when they teased that, and it was just the car, the back of the car, which was spectacular. And speaking of movies or movie style, I love Paul Schipper's work. And this one here, he's taken iconic moments from the film and the iconic characters, again, the Ecto-1.
Yep.
And then our Blazing Seal, where we have our battle with Gozer, all four of our guys, Slimer, who became one of the fan favorites.
Yeah, my niece's favorite, actually. She has like 3 or 4 stuffed Slimers.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know, did they really realize that he would become one of the most popular characters in it?
Do you know what his original name was?
No.
Onionhead.
Onionhead. Well, that's catchy. However, I think Slimer works a little...
Slimer is what we now know in history. It's the better one, I'm going to say.
Yes. I love the Devil Dogs.
I love them.
Those are so fun.
Those puppets were amazing.
Yeah. But what I like is, I love the smirky, fun, lost smile on
Rick Moranis.
On his character here. It's just he's had a day.
You can hear him.
He's okay with it. His day is odd, but he's kind of digging on it.
Yes, have some.
I love the work of the light that I remember that moment in the film. And so this brings all of that together, and Paul does amazing homage work to film in that style, and I absolutely love it.
Now, I am dying to
Yes.
get to these. A character that I really love, grew up adoring. We have this Vampirella piece with, we've been talking about light, but
Yeah.
look at that incredible light coming down. You know exactly where it's coming from too. As it
Yes,
shines on
here
her.
in the gallery, you'd think, oh, well, that's the overhead light. It is just that way.
That's
But
her.
it shimmers off the hair, glistens into the eye, hits on the bottom lip, and then on the palm of her hand as well. Just the way in which the light works on this, that is kind of coming upward and backward again off the shoulder.
Yeah.
Really just giving it that lifelike feel.
It almost makes the lipstick look freshly applied.
Yes, yeah, it has a pin-up style to it, and she had very intense, straight lines in her costuming, in her hair, and things like that, and you get that in here, and just the work of the light and shadow again on these. That's what always amazes me about two-dimensional art and paint work and this and the other is when you're able to bring so much life into
Really
it.
bring it off the paper. Now, here we have a Mike Mayhew print. I love pinup art. I'm a huge sucker for pinup art.
This has that style. I mean,
Yeah.
you look at it, and it has that satin sheet look.
Yeah.
Again, how the light reflects off it, and the rolls and the wrinkles of the satin on there, and her expression again has that kind of 70s
Yeah, the
pinup.
coquettish.
Pinup style, and I like it. She's very confident in this, and I dig that. I think it's a lot of it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you can tell the difference between the satin sheets, but like the leather on the bodice, even though they're the same tone of red.
And to just get that with paint. Now, probably one of the most iconic characters of all time, Batman. Yeah,
Truly a superhero to how holidays.
yeah. So what about the birth of and then Al Williams?
He's made
There's a lot going into it. Again, when a painting tells a story, when you get so much story and you get to read into it, and you know, I've used the word a lot, get lost in them. This is one that has that. The fact that we are only seeing the top cowl have light and that the whole face is darkened, we're not being able to read an expression or emotion that he's having at that moment.
Yeah, you feel it.
You as the viewer are writing that part of it in and what he's feeling at that moment. I love the wisp of the smoke coming up. This is not, I like that it's a single weighing tombstone versus a large mausoleum or something like that. And I think this is just, there's a lot to be said in this one here.
And the gauziness over the stone face on the angel is just such a lovely extra touch where it feels translucent and it feels light over something so hard and heavy.
Exactly. Now, when we talk about details,
and
we talk about Batman and getting little details into stuff and finding more and more, I don't think it gets more than this next one.
I'm deeply coveting this piece, guys.
This is really neat. And you and I were looking at this a little bit before we came on right now.
We were lost in this.
And went, wait, there's that. There's so much with this that his cowl, the ears on the cowl are actually those cathedral steeples.
Yeah. Which you can easily see him hanging off of.
Yes, and then now here's one that you and I went, whoa. And that is, we take a look at the cherubs, and I get close to them. They're the white face masks with a smile paint.
I looked at this piece for a solid 3 minutes before I even realized it.
I didn't realize
You
that.
pointed it out.
Yeah, it was in this upper right corner that I saw it and went, wait, they're all doing that. The bats underneath, even where you have that white, what we would normally say is our neutral space, that you go, wait, nope, there's a stained glass window behind that. And not only is it here, but also that stained glass that comes into his emblem.
Yeah, the stained glass in the behind really creates a cool depth of field with it.
I like the 5 Jokers cherubs, we'll say, kind of holding it and putting it up there, and taking up that mantle is not going to be an easy thing to hold up, and them holding it up like that just gives it a lot. And so there's so much going on here that you could just look at this for hours.
Yeah, it's
in all of the work. And
one of the coolest Batman pieces I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's spectacular, and Just yeah, it's Spooktacular. That's Marvel, and then we also have a few pieces here.
Let's journey on over
in the Marvel
world.
Now that we've left DC, Wolverine versus Blade.
How cool is that? I am obsessed with the blood-soaked moon in the background, the expressions on both of their faces.
Yeah,
I love this.
There's so much going on in this. Wolverine in that kind of in the black suit. I like when they change the outfits and the wardrobes on them.
Yeah.
Both of these guys, fangs out, raring to go at each other. They are not pleased with each other. The shimmer of light on all of the blades, be it Wolverine's claws or his spikes.
Yeah.
I love the look of
Blade's
the light.
little knife.
Yeah, exactly. And as you said, that blood-soaked moon behind there being the source of the light that is hitting off of the leather and the outfit on there.
I'm such a Blade fan.
Yeah.
This is a piece that I would love to have. Blade was, there's a lot of other movies that I didn't realize were comic book movies, like Men in Black.
Oh,
but
okay,
Blade
yes.
was my, I knew was a comic book.
You knew it was a comic book. Yes,
movies.
I know that there were a lot of people who did not know that was a comic. When you talk about use of light, you can't go more than with full-on fire.
A character so dear to my heart.
Brian Rood and his Ghost Rider print. Yeah. Now, so he is a character that you.
I love Ghost Rider. I love every iteration of Ghost Rider. It's a character I really love, and the design specifically. I love a skeleton. I love a skull. I love a spooky design, and specifically the way the light casts off of his motorcycle, and then the chains in the middle of motion is so cool and so right in the middle of the action of it.
Yeah, it's such it'll be about a guy who becomes a skull and lights on fire. You're like, the pitch meeting of a comic like that had to be very, very unique.
Yeah.
But what I'm loving is the feeling of the warmth that you are getting off of that, and how it's illuminating the entire room that he is in. That it's bouncing back up off the stained glass window, and so you're seeing some really great line detail work in there. And I think that's another one that the further you look into that piece, the more you are gonna see.
And like we were talking about textures and fabrics before, the leather on his pants and his jacket and his chaps, the fact that it still looks and the light shines off of it like leather in the middle of all this light and fire is incredible.
Yeah, it's he is so incredibly fun.
Yeah,
I love it. Well, I know that you and I are dying to get back into the booth,
yes.
Journey in a little deeper into the booth. We're going to journey back into it. Kevin Tong, you got to see an artist profile on that. We would like to show you one of our Sideshow artists, Matt Black, an incredible individual and an incredible story that he has to tell. So we're going to let you take a look at that. And you and I are going to go back through the magic portal and take a look at more stuff. We'll be back with you in just a little bit. I am so gonna win this.
Win what?
Soul collecting. Come on, you know I am all about the souls.
You know that's not what we mean by soul. You know what? Never mind.
Trend watch.
Exciting times, Keith Lemon here with a Sideshow box. Let's open it. Brown paper. Oh, Gremlin's goodness. Oh, Bandit Gremlin, all wrapped up in his COVID mask, keeping safe. So you've probably guessed by now, this is a review of the Trick or Treat Studios Bandit Gremlin and Gizmo Mogwai stunt puppet. They're both stunt puppets. First up, here he is. He's the Bandit Gremlin. The sculpt is incredible. I'm going to take this off because I feel a bit daft, just a little bit daft. So the mold is incredible. It looks just like a gremlin from the movie, the first movie, Gremlins. Not Gremlins 1, because it wasn't called Gremlins 1, because we didn't know there was going to be a Gremlins 2, but it's just called Gremlins. It's the Bandit Gremlin from when Kate's at work and all the gremlins are there and she's giving them beers and stuff. Dory's Tavern, it's called. Just to look at, it's incredible. But you probably want to know, can you take its hat off? Can you take its balaclava off? Let's see. It's just got its ears stitched together. So if you wanted to just have the regular gremlin, then you could take its balaclava off. Otherwise, you could put it back on. There, it's back to Bandit Gremlin. It's got a slit in its back. There's its slit. Inside there's foam. Can you get your hand in? There it is, there it is.
Hello, I am the Bandit Gremlin. I started being a bandit back in 1984 when I tried to rob Phoebe Cakes at the Dory's Tavern bar.
Yeah, you can really work it as a puppet as well. So if you want to hang it up and just go, look, there's a gremlin, it looks wicked, doesn't it? And you can also play with it if you want to play with it. Love it to bits. It looks like a gremlin from film. Now we're looking at Gizmo. Comes in a lovely box. Just like the box in the film, you see it's got, well, it's not like the box in the film. It's got markings on it like the box in the film. It's got the rules here. No bright light. Oops, that's better. No bright light. Don't get it wet. Put no water around. And never feed it after midnight. I would follow those rules if it was real, but it's not real. It just looks very real. So let's have lights back on. So what can I say about this Gizmo puppet? Apparently, the sculpt. Oh, there's me dog. 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 I wait till the dog stopped. It looks very much like Gizmo in the film, the first film, the one that I prefer the most. Yeah, let's get him out. I like this second Gremlins, but I'm just a fan of the first one more. You're very cute. The Gizmo looks like he's got long arms. The fur should probably come down here, but I'm not knocking it, it's very good. Where's his arms? Look at his arms. He can do this. That's about what he can do, really. Okay. Just kidding. Yeah, it's got quite a lot of fur at the back there, so you can just tuck it in and just use it as some sort of ornamental Gizmo. I like it, if I'm honest. Smart feet. Little tiny Gizmo, tiny Gizmo. The fur's the right colour. It's Gizmo. Don't get him wet, don't feed him after midnight. And whatever you do, don't give him a job at the stock exchange.
Bye, Billy. Go see you through a week. I'll see you through a window.
So we looked at the Gremlins Mogwai Gizmo Puppet and the Bandit Gremlin Stunt Puppet. Out of the two, for me, the Bandit Gremlin just has that edge. It just looks like a proper gremlin, as designed by Chris Wallace in the original Gremlin movie. Love it. Good paint job. It's the right colour. Often it's the wrong colour, but this is the right colour. Yeah, it's very robust as well. I bet I could throw him and know what would happen. Let's lift the camera, you can't even see me. That was the Trick or Treat Studios Bandit Gremlin Stunt Puppet and Gizmo Mogwai Stunt Puppet, both from Sideshow. Oh, that's 2i now. This is out now. If you don't see it for a week, I'll see you for a window. Good luck with your business. All best.
Out of the darkness comes this vigilant force of justice, and it's not a knight in shining armor that's rolling up. It's, you know, the Lord of Darkness for the most part.
If the Scarecrow gas kind of got out, like, how would you see some of these characters? What makes these the ultimate nightmare incarnation of each character?
The angle that we were going for, especially with the two characters that we're leading this project with, is how does Batman see himself, you know, in that vigilante enforcer of justice? How do the criminals sort of see him? In this particular case, the sort of demonic, vampiric, dark entity perspective.
The Batman is like a bat creature. We want it so when you see him from a distance, when you see him sitting on your shelf like 15, 20 feet away, you're like, oh, it's Batman. But as you get closer and closer, it's revealed it's not a guy in a suit, it's not his cape, it's a bat creature.
Simon Lee did a cool exploration of what the character could be. And then when it got to me, David told me I had the freedom to actually, take that and massage it, and I should be a little creative and put everything together. So it was a pretty awesome experience to work with those guys and come up with something unique.
His original suit was blue and gray and black, and I think, we've done a good job of marrying those characters together, the creature side and the Batman. So he's kind of on the more pale side, which is great because it translates to when you look at the Bat-head replacement, he's not warm. You get a sense that he's this kind of like undead creature of the night.
Batman just has such a diverse group of characters that can all be based a little bit in horror. The idea of how these people perceive like the worst version of them. And as horror fans at Sideshow, I think that was the one that made a little more sense, where it matched.
The Joker is the ultimate villain for Batman just because he's so insane and he's willing to do anything to hurt him.
We went less with a monstrous interpretation as sort of the Batman is perceived, and took the insanity and kind of made his entire makeup a sort of tableau of bas-relief Easter eggs of the entirety of the Joker's kind of incarnation.
The way it was described to me is like what we want is a very organic, sort of a collage-like melange of all the elements in the Joker's of his life and his character are going to be intermeshed into his body. What could I really emphasize? What could I really bring to the forefront as far as like resonant imagery, things that would be recognizable and impactful, and still make some kind of bizarre, have some sort of rhyme and reason within the Joker's anatomy as well.
And so that bridged wonderfully to Martin Canale, who took over the art direction at that point, and then steered it further. And you've got two different portraits, one that really reflects Martin's design ethic, and one that still holds the core notion of what Paul was channeling. So you can kind of decide for yourself which version of the nightmare you kind of caught into.
We take the Joker and make him an amalgam of everything Gotham. Like everything that makes the Joker Joker, even Batman, because to me, he is the worst of everything in Gotham.
The beauty of pop culture and some of these titanic icons like Batman or otherwise sort of sets the table for you to continue to blossom this out, because it does not take away from the genesis core of the character.
It is cool to take Batman and his long legacy in history and kind of like find the things that we want to bring to this. We have an awesome team here. We got to work with some AAA talent on both these projects, and you just got to see the best come out of all the artists involved in it.
I think those two pieces right there are going to be definitely some of the coolest Batman statue pieces to ever be done.
I think that these pieces that we do in this regard really radiate with a uniqueness to Sideshow's offerings. There are certainly a number of other characters with more than enough skeletons in their closet for us to pull a few loose threads in their psyche and, develop something else that will, complement what we're already putting forth.
Hey everybody, it's Norm Chan from the website tested.com, and today I'm going to be taking a look at a prop replica for Halloween. It is from the world of Jurassic Park, the 1:1 scale Raptor hatchling. This is made by Chronicle Collectibles, and Sideshow sent it over to me to take a look at as part of this week's Sideshow Spooktacular, because Halloween is coming up. And as you can see, I'm dressed for the occasion. This is actually my costume from a year ago. I went as Dr. Henry Wu from Jurassic Park, and this is not only the first scene that you see him in the film, but also where you see a baby raptor for the first time. So let's take a look. Open this box up. Inside the styrofoam packaging, you have a base and you have this lovely baby raptor. Now, previously, Chronicle Collectibles put out their 1-to-1 scale Raptor Egg, but you can't have the egg without the actual creature inside, and this is such an iconic moment in the film when you have Alan Grant and Dr. Hammond taking a look at the raptor coming out, and you see fine detail on the egg, of course. This is about 10-11 inches tall from base to top. I have the protective foam here that I'm going to remove. That doesn't come out of the raptor egg, but what it's protecting is this kind of creepy creature. Yeah, it's adorable and creepy at the same time. You have a lot of sculptural detail on the raptor itself, from the body to the raptor claws to its head. You have the tongue, the teeth inside. The whole thing is painted with a gloss finish to give it that slimy look. It's a nice contrast to the kind of eggshell finish on the egg itself. Not quite matte, not quite satin, but it does very much evoke that scene. One of the things I'm looking out for is that eye detail, and so you do have some pretty good eye detail there. The whole thing is made out of polyresin, so pretty sturdy, and as you can see, it's made not only to be displayed but also held if you want to wear it for costume or cosplay. There is a base as well though, so let's take a quick look at that. Popping this guy out. So this is the base that it comes with. Very heavy, very sturdy. Underneath it does say Jurassic Park Raptor Hatchling Limited Edition with the respective logos, and there's some sculptural detail on the base itself, the Jurassic Park logo, and then the egg fits right on top there, and it nestles in, it keys in with that bit. So pretty sturdy if you want to use it just as a display. If you don't want to use the base though, I don't think it stands on its own. It doesn't actually sit on its own without the base, but you can hold it, and I do like that it's not completely flat on the bottom. If you hold it in your hand, it looks like a full raptor egg. I like the heft of this thing. The raptor doesn't come out of the shell, so only half of the body is sculpted. The rest is encased in the shell itself. But from multiple angles, if you look around, you can't actually tell that it's not a full body sculpt. It's pretty convincing. These cracked shell pieces are part of the sculpt as well, so they're locked in. They're not going to fall off. And what I would do is probably add some more slime to it, maybe fill out some of a little bit of the cavity on the inside to give it that extra kind of just birth look of this baby raptor hatchling. Oh, it's so cute, staring right at me. Terrifying and cute. So this is, again, the Chronicle Collectibles 1-to-1 scale raptor hatchling prop replica. It's pretty cool for Jurassic Park fans, and if you're gonna go in cosplay, maybe as Dr. Hammond, maybe as Alan Grant, you could hold this at your next event as well. Take a look. It's available at Sideshow Collectibles website, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Real close, and just can you imagine now where you find people that have something that you're interested in, right here, just
Yeah, now you're dead, are you?
Not your kids' toys. Sideshow.com.
So it was a couple months ago. I was out to dinner with some very close friends of mine. My friend's wife asked me, growing up, if I ever remembered just a happy day. If I ever had just one happy day. I've been an intense control freak most of my life because my life was always totally out of control. My mom died, a brutal fight with cancer. I was her caretaker for 5.5 very long years. I've buried my entire family, so I've always been obsessed with controlling every aspect of life that I could. But sometimes there's circumstances that are just beyond our control. I was just watching TV with my daughter and parts of my face, it just felt different. I couldn't really pinpoint what was going on. Brushed my face and I felt like a hair was on me, and then I noticed it just didn't feel right. And it just got worse and worse. The next couple of days my hand was off and the whole left side of my body, so I was going to doctor after doctor. I had some MRIs, and July 16th, 2016, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. The doctors told me, based on the extent of the damage in my brain, I probably had it for 10 years before that. One of the main symptoms of multiple sclerosis is depression. It's hard not to slip into that, well, how did this happen, and start backtracking. What caused this? Who did this to me? I start trying to play the blame game. Generally speaking, 70% of people with my type of disease developed secondary progressive multiple sclerosis, where you see people in a Stephen Hawking-like state where they're just confined to a wheelchair and they have almost no mobility. 70%, that's a hard number to swallow. When I was a kid, my mom brought us to Olvera Street near downtown LA. And they had this booth set up where this old man was working on glass blowing and a little glass menagerie. And I was just transfixed by the way he moved his hands. I wanted that dexterity of a craftsman. My wife told me a long time ago that she loves watching me sculpt because of the way my hands move. And I strove for that my whole life. I finally have that. I'm that guy somebody noticed. And that's one of the things that I worry about losing the most as my left hand starts becoming more clumsy and less agile. And it's sort of terrifying to think that, my hands now can't unlock a door. My left hand can't pick up a coffee cup. I don't know what's ahead of me. I don't know if I'm gonna wake up and be blind, or my leg's not gonna work. Pre-diagnosis, I took a lot of that for granted, knowing that you're almost completely out of control. You just have to let go and do the best you can and hope for the best. I wrote a letter to multiple sclerosis. And I thanked my disease for helping me slow down and focus. Focus on the positive, and it gives me perspective about what's important. My friend had asked me if I ever remembered just a happy day. The trauma and abuse and homelessness and destruction, deaths that I've survived. If I ever had just one happy day. And it took me a minute to really think about it. And I looked at her and I said, every single one of them was a happy day. They got me here to a point where I could move past it. I just have to enjoy what I have left and embrace the ways my body is changing. A lot of people use phrases like warrior or battling. I just can't identify with turning my body into my own enemy. It's got to be from a place of love and positivity. You're going to end up dying a warrior rather than living with this new compromised reality. So I try to live my life with purpose. I don't want to be a fighter. I don't want to be a victim. I don't want to be thought of somebody who's battling anything. I watched my whole family die of victim mentality. I don't want to spend any time feeling sorry for myself because still a lot of life to live. My name is Matthew Black, and this disease does not define me.
Welcome back to Sideshow, Spooky Show, part of Spooktacular. I'm one of your hosts, Vanessa.
And I'm Guy. That was an incredible look at Matt. Matt is one of my favorite people, one of our favorite artists here. And what an inspiring story to remember to actual life every moment to fullest. And because we just said, I want to take a piece of Invasion of Behemoth and Crabthula. And these are really fun. And what Matt wanted to do with these is not only have that whimsy, but have that movement, that exaggerated style to it.
That cartoonishness to it.
Yeah, and there's just such a fun quality to it, but there is also so much detail. When you look at Crabthula, the way in which the water is moving and crushing the buildings around, and the snap of the SS Lovecraft.
I love it.
You got SS Lovecraft that you can see through there. Snap, and you can actually read the whole thing there through there. Is really neat. That's a fun piece. I love that he brought kind of whimsy. This off.
Smoke is cool.
Yeah, the billowing smoke against those crushed buildings, and then the intricacies of the little arms and the delicate wings.
I love the slice through them on the other side, on the clock tower specifically.
Yes.
Where you can see it start to slide off. It's as if like laser eyes just right through it.
Yep, it's gonna drop. It's gonna drop. I love those, and those are a lot of fun. And this Unruly's take on these is great, particularly seeing some of those monsters. This one here, brain, for me, hands out. This reminds me of my youth and Halloween cartoons and breakfast cereals and things like that. And it has that. I like that sinisterness. I love the eyes on that, and a sculpt that has the little hands up fingers together.
Yeah, you can really get
the plotting.
It's a whimsy that the designer Mike Rogues put into these. Each one has a kind of like Saturday morning delightful cartoony feel to it.
Yeah, the Unruly stuff is just a lot of fun. Now another great thing, and more of the iconic characters, the horror world.
How fun.
Two that will be, and Freddie.
Have come
Zach got them right. One here, Iron Studio, the 10th scale Jason. This is amazing. I love how it looks. And they're just the water look down into the mist. They built that base around it. That's sloped ahead. Now watching is now. That's it. Sideshow /show giveaway. That is great all the way until Halloween night at 11. Last an opportunity to take this.
What?
I've written that for that like part. And back and we boiled.
Hey guys, we are back with Sideshow Spooky Show. You never know what kind of technical difficulties you will get on Devil's Night.
Exactly. We had a few gremlins, apparently.
Lots of tricks, lots of treats.
We've got some great things that we want to continue to show you, and two of the most iconic characters to come out of the horror world.
That we've been begging to fight.
Exactly. We're Jason and Freddie, and we wanted them to, we got to see that.
Yep.
And so we have pieces in the 1/10 scale from Iron Studios. This Jason here, the slight back of the head on there, the iconic mask, his machete, but I love the water effect on this.
It looks like water in a dish.
And you can actually see down into it. This right now is a Gleam giveaway contest, and you can enter side.show/spooky show giveaways, and that is going to be open until Halloween night, the 31st at 11:59 p.m. Okay, and that's Pacific time. All right. So make sure that you enter that because you definitely want to add this to your home. In the 1/10 scale, they've also done one of my favorites, Freddy Krueger.
What an entrance for him, by the way.
Exactly. I love the twist of the body and the incredible confidence that he has in his iconic sword and the bladed glove. I love the steam coming out the pipe there in the boiler room. I remember the boiler room at my elementary school when I was a kid, and when this movie came out,
oh man,
all I could think about was that room, and I mean it made it so much more unique. Now we started our show with some 1/1 scale and seeing stuff that was full size, and they actually have 1/1 size gloves that they have done from 3 of the different films. From the origin film, they've also done it from the Dream Warriors, and then the deluxe from the Dream Masters. And these are a wearable prop.
Yeah, these are iconic. You can think of any weapon, and it could really, it could belong to any slasher, but the glove is only Freddy's.
It's only Freddy's, and it is his. Now, for those of you that are watching, if you're watching at work or watching with some of the younger viewers, the next items we're going to take a peek at are a little bit more risque, all right? And so if you need to turn your screen, let's look. Vanessa, take it away with Devil Girl.
Now, I was mesmerized by Devil Girl the second I stepped into the booth. I love her. She has such a cartoony, drawn quality to her. She really does look like she popped out of a page. You can tell by that shading of the blue on her hair, on her tie, to where it has that like cartoonish sheen to leather. And her expression is so fun. And I love the translucency on that fire. I'm in love with Devil Girl.
Yeah. The translucency, again, yes, that look with light behind it that brings it even more to life. Now we're going to go into what I love to live in, and that is the 1/6 world. And we have 3 brands here from Sideshow. First up, we have Ghostface, all right? Giving you the rules of horror films. And then breaking them all, which was spectacular. And we've got all Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He has 2 different looks.
Really?
He also comes with an apron and that swap out, what we call the old lady mask.
Yes,
which is
I
great.
love that.
And then my favorite guy.
My guy.
Michael Myers. This one here comes with a ton of stuff. He's going to have the Judith's tombstone. He's going to have both his clean and bloody knife, but he also has a swap out head that is going to be with the sheet and the glasses. Mm-hmm. And yet
one iconic kill.
Exactly. And one more iconic moment from that is he comes with a telephone receiver that has the dangling cord and a light up. Okay.
Now,
he has all of the moments from that film.
I love that. You can recreate all of those iconic scenes. Now, I am devastatingly in love with Pumpkin Witch. I'm a huge Anders fan. I love his art. I love Lilo and Stitch. I love, that toothless design. But I also really love his character creations. And Pumpkin Witch is so of the holidays, from her expression to her leggings to the scene created around her. She's so fun, so gorgeous. This is a piece I desperately want.
Yeah, I love the cat and mouse deal on the back. I think that's fun. But when we're talking about the cat that's in the back there, we have to talk about one of the most iconic representations of cat, and that is Catwoman.
Cat.
She is here for a reason on this lit pillar, and that is to show you just how amazing this piece is.
She's really breathtaking.
It is. The portrait on this is absolutely wonderful. The base, it has that cartoony concrete. And what I mean by that is there was such a smooth quality of concrete that they had on it here. And they have dealed the whole thing around. Now,
she looks serene.
What they were able to do with this one here is they were able to go over to the Warner Archives. They were to scan the original outfit, look closely as they needed, and individually look at each one of her claws. And they are different.
Yeah.
They were not standard. Each one had
it's made at home.
Yes, and each one had its own unique story. The look of the leather that they've done on her outfit and that it's stitched onto the body. I know that when...
Just like the actress.
Yeah, when she had to be stitched into this thing for them to film. And then when you get to see the leather glossy look of the main suit and the slight matte version and the change into the boot. Okay?
Outstanding.
And look at the lace work on that. And that's sculpted.
Yeah.
Tiny like that. Here's one of the things I love about it.
Because she's always ready.
It's got that whip right behind.
From every angle, there's so much character to these. There's so much, obvious love for the Catwoman character and what she's all about, and even how in a resting pose, she's always ready for battle. I'm going to say it's my favorite Batman movie. I'm just going to say it now. I'm going to declare it loud for the world. It's my favorite Batman movie.
Frail in this, and what they did with the character and the look was so new and so different. Burton and his team of artists making this, artists that have now brought this to life that we can now have in our...
Yeah, it's both photorealistic and comic book all at once.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. It's based, but I love the stone cat.
I love the cat.
I love the stone comical cat that we saw in there. And let's take another look at at the piercing eyes of that portrait.
Yeah, like Michelle Pfeiffer just staring right at you.
And the brightness and lipstick look and the kind of the edges are a little bit...
The curled smile.
Yep, a little bit darker, and there's so much set in the eyes. And to capture that, anytime you can capture the eyes in a piece...
And really get the feeling behind
get the feel. This is a showstopper here at our Sideshow. But just in general, how the light just bounces off of her suit.
It just is light. So really, if you have this as a display at home, it really doesn't matter what your light setup is.
Exactly.
It's going to be incredible from every angle. It's so reflective.
Yes, people use LED strips at times. They have a bright overhead light, but I think what's neat about this one here is she catches light in so many unique ways because of that suit. You're going to have that lace work.
So detailed.
Back of the corset.
You can see really, sewn and tightened into that suit.
Yeah, there's such a confidence in that expression.
Now, you brought it up earlier in terms of the little stone cat, and that it has that feeling of that prop facade, but it really does look like out of the movie.
Yes.
The color and the texture and the shadowing on it really does look like it's straight out of that Gotham that we know.
Yeah. To have had the opportunity to be able to go and stand like that, so stick is going to be where it would be, and I love those. They're so tiny and delicate, so unique.
My favorite Catwoman claws.
Yeah, I remember getting to see the real ones at one point and going, my goodness, each one is different, and I now see that in scale like that. And I'm doing my best here to kind of give you as many angles as you can see turning around, but it's beautiful, beautiful piece, and I love it. Now, my house, Godzilla is king.
Also my house.
All right, Godzilla.
I'm a huge kaiju fan.
Godzilla is king. And here, Bandai's given us a lot of new looks on here. From the original 1954 film to the 2002, I think is spectacular. I love And of course it says Burning Godzilla.
Yeah.
That has some incredible look.
The color gradient is so cool on it, to where it's not a solid burning, but you can kind of see like various points of translucency, like lightly at the tips.
Exactly. And these are articulate. These are not just a statue. These are articulate. These are like feet move. The hands and all will move. Form Godzilla. Wow, is that a wild one?
One of my favorite Godzilla iterations. I actually have several prints of it because of how much I love that design.
The winged characters of Rodan and Mothra.
Oh my goodness.
I like this, and I love that they've given us the base so we have them up and elevated. Again, are articulated, so they do have points of articulation on these, which is great. Now, I had an opportunity on Untitled to take a look at this one here, which is the Sixth Scale the Nun.
Wow.
So if you want a more in-depth look, that is, you can look up that at our, but if you're a fan of the Conjuring films, the Nun, it is absolutely spectacular. 2 portraits, an incredible figure. And then we've also done that as a statue in a smaller 1/10 scale from Iron Studio. She is creepy.
I love it. Favorite entries in the Conjureverse. The tone that it sets is, I do love a good possession film. And we saw that Annabelle before, so another entry in the Conjureverse. So
exactly.
Both great for any big Conjuring fans.
Yeah.
I love
it. Yeah, you and I realize today the things that we are in and how stands out as one of the of a werewolf movie. And this one, wow, is where you're getting that dog-like, that's still biped going on. Lots of incredible movement, lots of carnage down below. I love the little mushrooms that are kind of the whimsical mushrooms growing out on the base. On there, the open mouth, the anger, the intense eyes, and this is done in a scale.
Now, PCS actually did drop another quarter scale today, which is a Pumpkinhead quarter scale, along with a Leatherface third scale and a Ghostface third scale.
Yeah, it's a beautiful piece. Lots to look at. Again, this is, because there's so much, this that I think becomes a centerpiece in your room, because as you walk, there's so much going on.
And I am always an advocate for werewolf piece in your home.
Exactly. You should have a centerpiece in your home. The other thing that you and I, about the things that we really like, that we're very into, is when things are a prop replica, a 1/1 scale, because it may feel as though we can recreate part of it.
Yeah.
And Trick or Treat Studios gave us some of those creepy ones. This is both creepy and cute.
And to scale.
And to scale, all right? So we have the Maquette stripe. I love his sinister devilish grin and bit of squinted eye there. And of course the stripe. And then we have our Gizmo. And then our Bandit.
We have our Bandit.
What's neat about these is not only are they 1/1 scale, these guys are little puppets.
Yeah. As is the Bandit.
They can move his little hands and his little feet. I get to work with Bandit here.
Has a removable mask.
Yeah. So you can take that off and it reveals the little ears and scary aspect of that guy right there.
Now, I am not a tall woman. The scale of this is incredible.
Yes. He's a hard bull.
Now let's draw on over.
Let's take a look at some of our unruly stuff. Again, because we have so much fun with it. It is with that lighthearted stuff. We want to pay a compliment to the artists that helped create each of these.
Yes. Now, the design for these gorgeous kaiju pieces were done by Bird. And the monsters specifically were done by Ian McDonald. And then Sjogren worked on this. I love it so much. This Guru del Toro, Master of Monsters piece. Because, honestly, King of Monsters.
Yes. I love that it almost has award show look to it. Guillermo is an incredible guy, an incredible collector of the horror genre, and has done incredible work with it, and I'm always loving to see what else he does. Well, I don't know about you. There's a ton of stuff that we got to see.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of our favorites.
Well, right up top, my son over here. He's my son now. I'm his mother.
I'm loving the 1/1 scale. I'm loving the 1/1 scale stuff. And so, yes, I have to say Gizmo is one of my favorites. Seeing this Catwoman Maquette in person,
easily one of my favorites.
seeing it is such a standout. There's been so much, and we know that you've looked at how much. You're probably saturated, but we wanted to again remind you of some of those contests. We've got the Jason 1/10 scale Gleam giveaway, and that's at side.co/spooky sideshow giveaway.
And it's a gorgeous piece.
Yes, and that is going to be. You can enter that all the way to 11:15 p.m. Pacific time on the 31st. So make sure that you do that. The incredibly fun T-shirt you and I are wearing are part of the Spooktacular kit.
Yep.
You get the T-shirt, you get different masks, as well as two really fun pins that I love, and that is also available on the site. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I want to thank Sideshow for making this booth.
Yes.
And for letting us come play. I want to thank you for sharing our love of spooky.
I've had a fantastic time.
And fun stuff here.
And our puppet friends here, our new baby.
Yes. Well, thanks once again for coming to see Spooktacular. Don't forget to let your geek side show and today sleep
is for the weak.